Yeah, sorry.
Well, because we only have 2.
Can I have a booster? Because I feel like I'm shorter than you guys in this.
But actually, it levels it out a little bit because you are freakishly tall. So.
But I'm not a clown.
Right. Nobody said you were a clown. Where did you get clown from?
Aren't clowns freakishly small?
I said that one time.
No, clowns are various sizes.
Oh.
That's true. I said that one time in like the intro to a sermon or something. I said, I'm tall enough to be considered tall, but not tall enough to be considered for the circus. That's what I said.
But that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with
Yeah, I guess
clowns,
that's true.
Though. That could just be like the tall man in the circus, like the freak
bearded
show,
lady.
The freak show in a circus. You could pull off the bearded lady, I suppose.
I'm not a lady.
Welcome back to Those Who Trust. We are so excited to have you here and excited to have our guest, David Gulliford.
Thank you.
Welcome, buddy.
Thank you.
So glad to have you here. David, as you're a longtime listener to the show, thank you very, very much. He sends in fan mail all the time. It's a little awkward, actually. But we always, as you know, we open up with a couple of fun questions.
Right.
And so, Abigail, what do we have on deck for you?
So our fun question for today is, if you had to pick a Bible story to turn into a blockbuster movie, which one would you choose, and who would play the lead role? Now, shouldn't be, I told Dad this, it shouldn't be someone who, like, is in Christian movies, like in The Chosen. Like, don't pick one of those actors. Do someone, like,
I couldn't even name those people.
Okay,
You're asking the questions flat out, and are you giving the guests...
Yes.
Are you giving him rules on how to answer the question?
Okay,
I feel really boxed in.
If he's picking a Bible story about Jesus and he chooses the guy who plays Jesus in like some other movie, like it's not as fun. Like do someone like from Hollywood that like everyone knows.
What I really want to say is no one can actually play these roles because they're so holy.
Well, yes.
No, these were real people. What I really want to say first, though, because I am a longish time listener. And I've listened to previous episodes and heard some of the previous fun questions. So before I answer this, I heard one of your questions was...
Are you wanting to go back and answer another question?
I don't want to answer it. I want to pick apart your answer.
Oh, no.
Please.
One of your questions was, if you could only choose one food to eat for the rest of your life, what would it be? Do you remember your answer to that?
Was it salad? I feel like it was
No,
salad
it was, I think, puppy chow?
No.
Oh, that was the episode with Hayden.
Yes.
Yeah.
You said puppy chow. Like, you would eat just that for the rest of your life. And
I don't remember you saying that.
Hayden said something like pasta, something that actually made some sense. And you said puppy chow, and I think I was in my car, and I actually out loud said, what?
But you don't like peanut butter, though.
It has nothing to do with that. You're picking a sweet...
You don't like peanut butter? Oh, my God.
Oh, he does.
This is a whole separate episode.
It's not a separate episode. We need to get into it right now.
Shut up.
Listen, my sister...
I don't think you probably wouldn't have asked him on if you'd known that.
Oh, my... I don't think so either.
Should I leave?
That almost...
Like, I'm obsessed with peanut butter.
So what we have here is we have, like, Old Testament, like leprosy, and then we have people who don't like peanut butter. And then somewhere in between, the people who like pineapple on their pizza.
Yeah.
This is the territory we're getting into.
I apologize. My sister didn't have it, or she was allergic growing up, so we didn't have it around the house.
Is she still?
Beside the point. No, I don't think so. But I don't know how you outgrow an allergy, but...
It could just, yeah.
But I never liked the smell of it either. And I still don't. So it's just...
See, I never thought about the fact that you just didn't have it in the house, but I always thought it was almost like what do they call that? Where it was almost like it was your compassionate heart that because your sister couldn't have it, you didn't even want to try it or like it or anything. And I'm like, oh, David is such a sweet brother.
There probably is some of that, because when she was punished often and would have to go to bed early, I would just go to bed early. Because it was just like, Mom and Dad took away my fun of her, so I would just go to bed.
That's so
Ladies,
sweet.
he is available. Just letting you know. What an adorable. Wow.
Logan and Grayson would never do that for me. Actually, I wouldn't do it for them either.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, puppy chow.
That's so sweet.
That's that was a weird choice for you.
I think I
would have said pizza because it's versatile.
See, that's what
breakfast pizza.
It said food, not just like meal. Like,
pizza's not a meal. Pizza's like food.
Yeah, pizza is food. It's not like food.
No, it is. He's saying that's a sweet thing to only ever eat that ever. You know what I mean? Like that's
like if I just said brownies. Like really, that's what you're gonna go with?
Yeah.
Anyway,
you'd get sick.
I'll let it go.
But you had puppy chow, you would know. It's a special treat.
And it's not the store-bought crappy puppy chow.
So
Homemade.
The stuff we make actually has peanut butter and chocolate in it. The stuff you buy at the store is practically Chex powdered with sugar.
Yes, that's all it is.
Powdered sugar, that's it. Yeah. There's very little like meat to it.
So anyway, if I could turn a Bible story with puppy chow into a blockbuster movie, the first thing that came to my mind, and it seems a little basic, especially for me, but David and Goliath.
You stole my answer.
Yes. I wonder if I'll steal your actor, too.
Oh,
probably. Oh, I didn't really think really hard about that.
Oh, okay.
So.
Because as soon as I thought David and Goliath, which I think there is a show.
Is it House of David?
I haven't seen it.
Season
have you seen
2.
It?
I have not yet. I'm
intrigued.
Was it even on? Prime, maybe? Okay, I think you're right. Which we have Prime, so we should check that out.
I'm intrigued. But that was the first story that came to mind because it just seems like an epic.
Actors.
But I kid you not, I don't even know this. I've only seen this guy in one movie, so I'm not super familiar with him, but he is popular. But as soon as I thought David and Goliath, my mind went Timothy Chalamet.
For David?
Or Chalamet.
Oh, no.
I don't know how to say
Chalamet.
That would be really
I think
good.
you're right. No, that would be really good because ruddy and good looking. He's kind of got that.
He's still young enough, I think, to pull it off. And
now, who would you cast as Goliath?
Oh, I have a good David now. Sorry.
That would have to be AI or like CGI or something. I don't know. Do you know someone who could be like Dwayne Johnson or
no? That would almost too comical. There's a guy, and I
true.
do not. I'd have to look him up, so I don't want to take the time to look him up right now. But there's a guy. He's been in a couple of movies where he's like the big henchman guy. And the dude's legit 7.5 foot tall, but he's just massive. He's like he probably used to be a pro wrestler back in the day or something. And I don't know if he's Middle Eastern. He's got a very Turkish weird accent. I don't know how. I can't really place it now. I'd have to look it up, but that's who I would think. And maybe use CGI to make him slightly larger, but he's already
with
huge.
Angles and
yeah.
Now King Saul, of course, would be.
Of course, and you don't know.
I really don't know. I don't know enough actors. I don't watch movies, but
man, who would? Yeah, that would. I'd have to think about that one for a minute. So
anyway.
I'm going to go with same story, David and Goliath, because that one's it's just like a classic. That's your first, when people say Bible story, that's what I think of.
Right.
And then I had Tom Holland as David.
Okay.
I feel like he's smaller,
Yeah.
He doesn't seem, you know what I mean? It fits.
No, I can see that.
Goliath I didn't think of.
For some reason, I like Timothy Chalamet for just hair. For some reason, that curly blackish hair.
Yeah.
I think I like that.
Seems pretty
close.
Yeah,
that was a good.
Just right off the top of my head.
Nice. Well done. I think for mine, I almost went the comically absurd route, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is Samson.
Oh,
like a very Terminator Samson.
That could work. I'd watch it.
Oh, that's good. All right. For the deep question we have, when you think about...
I thought that was a deep question.
No.
I took it seriously.
All right. Okay.
When you think about your spiritual journey, what's one moment that reshaped your faith or challenged you to grow? I know. It's like...
I mean, this is like... This question could be an episode.
Or this question could be the challenge that causes your faith to grow.
It could. It has been. Tell you what. One moment that is reshaped. I think, I don't want to give too much of an answer and take too much time. But I've talked about this before in a message before. But there was a moment in 2022, the fall of 22. I was back from Rhema, had been back for a while, and I was in my own house. I had my own place at that point, was on my own, and I was just in a low, dry spiritual place. And there was no sin that led to that, or nothing specific that was this is why I'm in this. It was just, I couldn't identify it. I was like, why am I going through this? And I really did just take the time to ask the Lord, what's going on here? And he gave me some direction in that. And it really has, as I thought about this question, it really has, what I got from that has shaped my spiritual journey since then, which has been 3 years. So the answer that God
gave you has shaped?
Yeah.
Okay.
And which really just had to do with my responsibility to make my own spiritual environment for spiritual growth. I had relied,
because this was the first you'd been on your own.
Right. I had relied on my parents through, I lived with them for the first 23 years, and then I was at Rhema in this great environment, Then I came back and was with my parents for another year in their house. Not that they were like teaching me at 26 or whatever, right. But still just being kind of in that safety net. And then I'm on my own now, doing a lot of my own things. And it was just like, I can't depend on anyone else now to do that for me. This is my,
So I know this is just one of our opening questions, right. But still a really good conversation though. So if you don't mind me asking, what were there specific things you put in place to kind of build your own environment in your home?
Yeah. I mean, the first thing he told me to do, which again, I've talked about this before. The first thing he told me to do was to keep an intake journal for 3 weeks, like mainly media, like what I was listening to, what I was watching.
Oh, I like that.
Wow.
And after 3 weeks, I looked at it, I kind of reviewed it and was like,
how specific were you? Like, did you really keep
like I would write down Facebook 7 minutes.
Holy,
like watched an episode of whatever for 22 minutes, and also good things like, listen to a worship playlist for a half hour, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I would look back on individual days or the whole 3 weeks and just see like inconsistencies or feeding my flesh more so than my spirit on certain days or over time. And it was like, okay, so then step 2 after that was make adjustments. And it wasn't like, okay, now I can never do Facebook or watch TV or whatever, but just tipping the scales more towards feeding my spirit and creating that environment, for spiritual growth. So
that's good for you.
And
that's great.
Adjustments, that's where I've been for the last 3 years now, is just continuing to move towards what he wants. And
Now, do you ever find yourself slipping back into some of those other habits?
For sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Did it always feel weird coming back from Rhema? I know when we get back from Summer Scream, it's kind of like you're on this like, Jesus high for the whole week, and then you kind of get back and you're just like, like you lose that fire.
So that experience from a week multiplied by 3 years.
Which, that's I never really thought about that.
And I did come back in the summers, so, but coming back knowing that I wasn't going back was,
And I feel like, most of the people that listen probably know, but Rhema's a Bible college in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and so that would be, you'd be surrounded practically 24/7. Because did you work at Rhema?
I worked from home.
Oh, you worked from home. Okay.
So essentially, I mean, I didn't work in a secular environment there either.
So you were pretty much immersed in that.
The Rhema bubble.
And then when you get home, and I think, and we've had incidents over the years that I've been here at the church where we've had people that leave and go to Rhema and come back, and you can tell which after 2 or 3 years people change. It just is what it is. But they're almost, when they come back, they're almost disappointed. It's like, oh, I kind of want more now. You know what I mean? And so then they end up going off somewhere else, and it's like, man, ugh.
Yeah.
But I know, which we will talk about later in the episode, you have a family dynamic that's a little bit different when you're coming home.
Sure.
So, so there is, which we'll get into a little bit.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear more about that. But
man, that's good. Thank you for that answer. That was very good.
That was very good. I would say for me, I feel like there's a lot of moments, especially as I've gotten older. I would say one big one would be when everything happened with my mom.
Sure.
But I was also very young, and I don't think I fully, knew a lot about my faith then, or it wasn't really my own faith. 4th grade, so
no
what
way.
Is that?
Legit, I know. That's what. Whenever I think about it,
that's like
because
Grace.
I was at Rhema. I mean, I remember getting a call, but
because Grayson.
2019.
Oh, you were. Oh, yeah, you were.
2019, yeah. Because Grayson was only 3.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So there's going to be.
Well,
even with Logan would have been 9. No, sorry. Logan would have been 7.
2nd grade.
7 or 8.
Grades, yeah.
And so, like, when I'm thinking back, like, I try to think back at my memory. Sorry to take your answer. I apologize.
No,
but I try to think back of what I remember being 6, 7, 8 is next to nothing. It's like, oh my gosh. They're not going to have a ton of memories of Ashley before her the incident and stuff. And I'm just like, that's really kind of sad. You know what I mean? It's just really heartbreaking.
Yeah, when you think about it like that, it can be hard. But I do think as a family, like, that strengthened our faith a lot. Not just me personally, but like as a family.
Right.
So I would say that's a big one for me. And I would definitely say this past year at camp a lot, especially like with the Holy Spirit and everything like that. And I think I really stepped into like hearing from God and like maybe hearing his plans for my life, not only mine. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like, I always have everything planned out in my life, but I kind of think I took a step back at camp and let him speak to me and show me what he wanted for me. And that's where I kind of felt I should do this podcast and just got some new opportunities and heard from God a little more. So I would definitely say that's a big one for me too, those two. What about you, Dad?
I think I'm going to, I won't say the thing with your mom since you already said it, but that was one big one. But before that, probably when I became a youth leader and also on staff at the church, because there was levels of responsibility that I'd never had before concerning things of God and being at the church. And I know as a youth leader, I wasn't technically on staff, but still, you have responsibility to students and responsibility to conduct yourself in certain ways and be a responsible adult and all that kind of stuff, which as a youth leader is not quite as big of a deal. You can hang out with the kids and act silly and be silly and stuff too. So, but then when I became a youth pastor, when I came on staff at the church, that kicks up a notch even more. So just those couple of things just really kind of challenged my faith and kind of caused me to kind of lean into God a little bit more than before. So that would be my answer.
Those are good.
So yeah, very good questions. Man, burned up half the episode just with those two.
No, we already started getting into conversation there. Well, we are very excited to have you on, David. We've been looking forward to this. I do want to let you know you were when we first started brainstorming about the podcast, we had a guest list of who we eventually wanted on, and you were one of our
dream guests.
Yes,
first
dream.
ones.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I want to let you know up front. I have a goal here today. I want to be. It won't be accomplished today, but through today, I want to be the first return guest. Unless you've already had one.
Oh, we haven't.
See, so.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
There's a bar.
There we go. All right. I like it.
That's hilarious. Okay. Well, if you don't mind, if you can just share a little bit about yourself before we kind of dive in. Well, I guess we can move on to the next. No,
first thing is I don't like peanut butter.
Oh, this
I
is
already established that, and I'm.
Yeah.
Oh, I just can't believe that.
A little bit about myself. I am David. I was born and raised here in St. Joseph, and essentially born and raised here at Living Word. My grandpa started this church when I was negative 14 years old, 1981. 81, and yeah, it's all I've ever known. And let's see, I was homeschooled from start to finish. Then after that, I went to Parkland for 2 years, got an associate's in business.
I forgot you went to Parkland.
And I went to Eastern Illinois for 2 years to get my bachelor's in business. And
now, did you go to Eastern, or did you go to Eastern through Parkland?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you want to do if you got those degrees?
I
or was
chose.
it just kind of
I really chose business admin because it was very generic.
Okay, that's what I figured.
I mean, and the only job I've ever had has been for my dad, and he owns a couple of businesses. So that's been maybe something in that. It just seemed like the smart thing to do, almost like a default thing to do. But
that makes sense.
Then after that, after Eastern, I took a year off and then went to Rhema for 3 years, and in the third year focused on pastoral ministry, and have been back for almost 4.5 years. Which also seems crazy.
The timeline is nuts. Yeah, this is wow.
Crazy. My time at Rhema feels like the Thanos snap.
Really?
Nothing should have happened here.
Yeah.
I came back and kids got older, and I was like, no,
right,
you're still.
Right. That's a good way to put it.
But yeah, now I still work for my dad's business. I am the vice president.
Wow.
Technically, that's a fairly new adventure.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Small business, but that basically means I do anything and everything that is needed.
Well, and that's what any small business that's what the owner does, right?
So it's kind of the same thing being in a small church. I'm very involved, and I do.
Wait, so you have a desk job? Is that most of what you do? I don't really know how that. I don't really
you
know
still
how
drive
it
a truck? You still
stuff.
do?
It depends on the season we're in and the staffing we have.
Okay.
This summer has been a lot of driving, which is fine. I enjoy, but ideally in that position, I should be at a desk a little bit more.
Yeah, but because your dad's still there in the full-time role, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if he's at a desk and you're at a desk, is there enough desk work for both of you?
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't know, but I also don't know the ins and outs of the business either. So, and it's two of them because they both run from the same office, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Wait, what's the other business?
Which one do you know?
The porta potty one.
The portable toilets, and then septic and sewer. They're
so it's
technically
like
two.
They're pretty connected, yeah. Separate, but I mean connected industries.
Same general work,
yeah.
but
So.
Oh wait, I think I heard that commercial on WBGL.
For septic, yeah.
Okay, I got it now.
We do it all.
Oh, love that. Well, I'm happy for you.
Sorry. Never mind. Nothing.
You got a potty joke?
No, I do. It's something your dad has said. I'm just not even going to repeat it. So that's,
I don't. Now I want to hear what you have to say later.
And sometimes I know I've heard your dad say it, but I've also had a teacher at Parkland say it too about certain industries or whatever. He's like, it may be poop, but it's our bread and butter.
Yeah. Sorry, I've heard all the lines.
It's so funny.
Oh my God.
It put food on our table growing up. So.
Hey,
And if,
all that matters.
and if you're looking for portable toilets, Illini Portable Toilets has the cleanest ones out there.
That's
I think the cleanest ones I have ever been.
Those are the only porta potties I'll ever use.
Now,
if I have to.
Unfortunately, we just drove by campus today a little bit and with these strong winds.
Oh no!
Shoot.
But they were empty, so it's okay.
That would be tough. That's something I would not want to deal with.
It's fun.
No, it's not fun.
Oh, no?
No, it can't be.
You're
There's no way. There is no possible way.
I've been telling myself it's
I
fun this whole
appreciate you living on the brighter side of things, but there is nothing. There's nothing that even sounds remotely fun about that.
Take that plus heat, like 100-degree heat.
There is. Oh my gosh! Wow.
I'll stop there.
Wow. Hope you guys got what you paid for with this episode.
So. Oh my gosh!
All right.
If you don't mind, do you want to share a little bit about your testimony? I don't really actually know anything about. I know you've grown up in church, so I feel like.
Yeah.
Us church kids kind of feel like I don't really have like a big testimony, but what would you say yours is?
Yeah, I mean that is kind of what I was thinking. Like I don't have the riveting testimony that people were, going to be on the edge of their seats listening to, but having grown up in church and in the faith, but I do this kind of feels like something that I have to say because it's how I grew up, and you probably feel the same way. I do feel like it's the best testimony to have.
I know, a lot of people do say that. Yeah, I like that.
Like I wasn't saved from a life of rank sin, but I was like preserved.
Right. No, that's
kept
a good way to
from
put
it.
That is a really good way to look.
Yeah.
Because I've had students that are like, we'll talk about that. So what's your story? Be like,
Yeah.
I grew up in church. I don't have a story. I'm like, everybody has a story.
Yeah.
And this particular student's like, I don't. And I did hear somebody mention it that way. It's like, you know what? Maybe you don't have a saved from crazy sin testimony or whatever, but the fact that you were, and I love the way of putting it that way. The fact that you were fortunate enough to grow up in a household of faith and go into church and have a family like that's a testimony in of itself. So I love the way you put that.
And I think I was saved at 5. I don't really have like vivid memories.
I really don't either, to be honest. I think it was around that age too. You just don't like.
Yeah, and I guess it wasn't really important enough to my mom to write it down. But I do remember a specific moment when I was 8. I know where I was and what day it was and everything, where I guess it would have been a rededication, but I feel like, at 8, you still don't fully understand. At 30, I still don't fully understand salvation and what all it means. But I think I was at a fuller understanding at 8 than I was at 5 to really know like what it meant to accept Jesus and, make him Lord of my life. And that was also around the time frame, like 8, 9 years old, when I got water baptized and then filled with the Spirit. So was making it more real, I guess, as I got a little bit older. But yeah, from then I don't have this, years of prodigal living or anything in there. So I'm blessed to.
When do you think your faith truly became your own, though? Would you say it was kind of like a lot of pressure having a family that's grown up in church and maybe with pastors and leaders from your family in the church? How would you say you kind of dealt with that? I know it's kind of a loaded question there, but
as far as my faith becoming my own, it was a progressive thing. I don't think I can look back on like a specific moment like that's when
I can.
Really?
When you
for me?
What you just shared. About when you were on your own in your house, like all of a sudden.
Yeah, wow. Now that's a moment. Yeah,
the environment had to be my own. I was almost thinking that when you were sharing that story, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's when your faith and your continued growth and maturing in the faith became your own responsibility, your own. Yeah.
And it seems like if that was 22, I was 27, so that seems like late. To have that, like, oh, it's now really my own. But I think you're right. I think that was a big moment.
Or at least a bigger step than you previously had before, maybe.
Sure.
So,
yeah. No, I think that's true. Another one that comes to mind as far as like a moment, and this is a smaller thing, but since I was homeschooled, Parkland was, well, other than driver's ed at the high school, but Parkland was my first like classroom experience. And so the first day of class, I'm in, I think I've told you this before years ago, but first day I'm in English 101 and the teacher's going over the syllabus and all the, here's our final assignment's going to be this. You're going to have to watch a movie and do a review or a report on it, whatever it was. And she made a point to say I don't accept alternate assignments. So I was like, okay. So I got home, I looked up the movie, quickly realized this was not going to be something that I was going to be okay watching.
Oh, wow.
Just like convicted, like, no, absolutely not. So.
And what class was this for?
English.
Oh, English. Sorry, you said that. English.
I guess, for the paper writing or whatever the assignment was, but to kind of force this movie on people was like, and it was one of those moments where I was like, I did discuss it with my parents, but it was, I'm 18. I could have chosen to compromise and just be like, yeah, for the sake of the assignment, the grade, I'll just watch it. No big deal. But I went to the teacher and I asked just in case, I was like, so no alternative assignments? Nope. So I went to the advisor or whoever and switched classes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, did you tell the teacher why you were dropping? Like,
I don't
did you
remember
have that conversation? I'm curious how that was.
I think I did. I think I gave her a reason. I think I said, I don't know how I worded it, but something along the lines of like, this would cause me to, I don't know, override my own like personal. I don't think I said religious, but convictions and would kind of go against what I believe or something like that. And I don't know. I don't recall her being like disrespectful towards that or anything. I think she understood, but she wasn't giving me any leeway on, which is fine. But I had the choice of like, okay, I'll just switch classes, and it was only one day in. Thankfully, I didn't.
Yeah.
So did you just switch to a different English class, different teacher, pretty much? Okay.
Wow,
I looked at
good for you. That's
the syllabus of that one. I was like, you got any sin in your in your class?
Oh my gosh.
No, and I know movies are a gray area, so it's not like,
Well, they can be, sure, but at the same time, I've always appreciated the stance that you've taken on that. Just being very like, that's good.
That was fairly young, one of those moments where it was like, okay, this is my decision to make. What am I going to do?
So did your mom and dad did they kind of like counsel you in a certain direction, or did they pretty much say this is this is your decision?
I think a little bit of both. Okay, I think they recognized that it was going to be something that I was going to have to do.
Yeah.
But we've always had that open dialogue of like me asking them, okay, what do you think?
Sure.
Definitely respect their opinions on stuff like that.
Now, how has that changed over the years?
I can't stand their opinions now. No. What do you mean? Like the relationship of.
So obviously we're not there yet,
sure.
But I've always heard, like when your kids are younger, like you're the authority. It's you don't give necessarily the kids a choice, an option or whatever. Like, this is how we do it in our home. This is our rules of the house. This is that. And as they grow older, the point is to raise your kids up, as the Bible says, in the fear and admonition of the Lord, raise them up under the things of God and raise them up in faith. And then as they get older and they develop into mature believers, mature members of society, then you get a little bit more into that, like,
I think the conversation has to deepen a little bit.
Sure. Not well, so and it deepens as they get older. Yeah. But I'm just saying there comes a point when you're not really, you're only giving your opinion if they ask for it. Does that make sense? Like, it's almost like, if it's something major, then I would say, hey, have you thought about this, honey, or something like that. But like, it's kind of like, well, as they get older and older and older, my input into their life is less and less and less. Become more, I don't want to say friend. I think that's not a good way to put it, but
really though, like brother and sister in the Lord at that point. Once they're still, she's always going to be your kid.
100%. And you're always, honor your mother and father.
Yeah.
And that never ends. That's always until they pass on into heaven. Like, that's what it is, right? So I get that, but the relationship and how their input into your life changes.
Yep.
So how have you seen kind of that change over the years?
Yeah, and it's been, we've had, with my sister and I and our parents, we've had a lot of conversations about that, where because we as adults were at home for a long time.
Right. But you're both moved out now.
Yeah.
Because she's moved out, you've moved out, so your parents are basically empty nesters.
Yeah. And
I see them on walks around town all the time. Absolutely adorable.
With the dog sometimes.
With the dog sometimes.
Yeah.
So
if the dog chooses she wants to go. Right. But yeah, what was the question?
No, just how have you seen their input in your life change as you've gotten older?
Yeah, we've had a lot of conversations about it because as adults still wanting to honor our parents, there does have to be a bit of a separation over time. And so
for boundaries come into play, right?
There's been some tension there and some good conversations.
Okay.
But it's something that all four of us are navigating for the first time, or were navigating.
Well, right.
When it was more fresh. But so, grace has to be extended both ways.
Yeah.
Like my parents have never parented adult children before,
Right.
when it was that time frame. But but there's still, I think if you raise your kids in such a way to where you grow that respect,
right,
both ways really, then that
that
conversation will always be open to where they get on their own. They want your advice and your counsel and your opinions. And it's not just like, I'm going to, you don't have to prove yourself when you're 18. Like, I'm going to do my own thing now. No, like the way I've been raised was with wisdom, and so I'm going to stick with those people, who still have my best interest at heart, And
I think, and I think you can also have a really good, solid core group of friends in the church that are believers that you've been able to grow up with too as well. So that always really just a very blessed upbringing all around.
Absolutely. Yeah. So. It's great to be able to have people in my life, parents specifically, with wisdom that I don't have. Yeah. And then it's also good to be able to bounce things off of peers.
Right.
Right. So, yeah.
I do love your guys' family dynamic. I know your mom talked about one time about how you guys do sit down and have, like, real conversations a lot. I remember, I don't know when she was talking about this, but I think, did you come and sit down with her, like, before you went to Rhema and just talked about, like,
I did.
What's our expectation going into this? Like,
for communication.
Yes,
yeah.
and I love that. I think that's so mature, and I think a lot of people don't do that, and they have trouble.
Right.
Like, sometimes you just got to lay it out on the table and be honest and have an honest conversation. You know
so
what I mean?
What was this? So I'm filming it.
Before I left, because, Mom was losing her baby boy, moving 600 miles away. It wasn't just like, I was moving out of the house. I was moving away, So
even if they knew it was temporary, it's still...
Yeah.
Okay.
So we sat down and had a conversation. I just asked her, I was like, what are your expectations for communication while I'm away? Because I didn't want to just leave and then, I don't know. And I think we ended up settling on, like, we did like a weekly FaceTime. Yeah. And it was usually Sunday afternoon.
Just to kind of catch up and kind of, okay.
And just to have that connect time.
That's really, so for anybody getting ready to go off to college, that's a really good conversation to have with your parents.
Or with anyone. I honestly, looking back, I wish I would have done that with some of my friends. Because I thought about it with her because I knew it was important to her. Yeah, because
you never called me once.
I did.
Not one time. And I said, this is ridiculous.
And all I got from you before I left was, you better come back.
I did. I legit said that because we've had so many that have left and not come back.
You and Pastor Mike both kind of threatened me. But here I am.
Which I knew it was pretty, unless God literally took you somewhere else, I'm like, okay, he's got family here. Like, this is, I was pretty, you were the one person that's gone off to Rhema or any Bible school, and I was pretty 90% certain that you were going to come back to stay. So,
that was funny. I really remember when you were about to leave.
You do remember? Is that what you said?
I think so, because me and Hayden, whenever we came back from Super Church, when everyone used to come back here and hang out after, like, big church and youth group and all that. I remember we were sitting with you one time eating our pretzels, and you were just talking to us, and we didn't even know you were leaving, but you were, like, about to leave or something like that, and then we, like, didn't see you for, like, years, and I was like, wait.
Where'd he go?
Yeah. You were serious? But I literally didn't even know what Rhema was, so.
Wow.
I'd love for you to share a little about that. I've never really heard how did it impact you? What was your experience there?
It was a great experience. Wow. So I went.
Oh, can I preempt that question? Because I want to preempt it with something and then build into your experience.
Okay.
What were your expectations going into Rhema?
That's good.
Because for anybody listening or watching, if you don't know, David's grandpa went to Rhema in the early years of Rhema. I think they were only 2 or 3 in Grandma.
Like
two
4th
or 3
or 5th
years.
class.
Yeah, 4th or 5th class of
wow.
Rhema Bible Training Center, now Rhema Bible College. So they were OGs back in the day, right?
Yeah.
And so his grandma and grandpa went to Rhema, came back home, founded the church, started this church, Living Word Family Church, and then your uncle's gone to Rhema. Both uncles, 2 uncles have gone to Rhema.
Yeah.
And so there's a little bit of, I would call it maybe a little bit of a family legacy going into this. So what were your expectations going to Rhema? Be like, what's this going to be like? How am I going to?
Yeah.
That's good.
It's not like you're walking onto campus as a legacy or anything. Like nobody's going to know who you are really. Right. But it's just like, what were your expectations going in? And then answering Abigail's questions, how was your experience when you got there?
Because I have a different last name from, my grandparents and my uncle who went. So I did have an instructor that called me Millis the whole time I was there.
Are you serious?
No way.
Because he knew.
On
he
purpose? Like that was just kind of a...
No, I think he thought I was. Actually...
That's hilarious.
Actually, yeah. At 3rd year graduation, we were doing, like, all the instructors were signing our yearbooks. And this instructor, it was Doug Jones.
Oh, that's hilarious. And it would
put
be
him on
Doug Jones.
blast.
That's so funny.
He was saying, I came up to him, and then he turned to one of the other instructors. He's like, yeah, this is Larry Millis. Or no. Oh, how did he say it? I think he said, this is Scott Millis' son. And I was like, what?
After 3 years.
I know. And he knew better. But even just last year, I think, when I went back for Winter Bible Seminar, I went up to him, and he's like, how's your dad doing? I was like, Uncle? And he said, shut up. It's like, he's doing good. Anyway. So, yeah, I mean, I was a 3rd generation student, but not really. There were some instructors that knew who I was and what the connection was, but it's not like that gave me any special.
No. Oh, and I didn't think that would. I'm just saying, but because of the family connection, having your expectations going in.
And a lot has changed between when my uncles went and when I went. I mean, so much.
Yeah.
And I knew a couple of people from here who had gone that I talked to a little bit, but didn't get a whole lot of information of like what it was actually going to be like.
Right.
So I've tried to provide that for other people that have gone since. Like, here's, answering questions and whatever, trying to set their expectations a little bit. To be honest, though, as far as the classes go and the spiritual side of things, this is, I hate admitting this, but I kind of went into it knowing, so Rhema does, I think it's still like this. The first 2 years are just kind of like everyone does the same thing. It's a general ministry fundamentals is what it's called.
Oh, okay.
And then in the 3rd year, you can choose like worship or pastoral or student ministry or missions, different
really
focuses or foci. I don't know.
Focaccia.
Isn't that a bread?
Oh, no. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
So I really, going there, I didn't say this to anyone, but I kind of had the attitude of like, can I just skip to the 3rd year? Like, I grew up in a Rhema church. I know.
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah.
Like, can there be like a placement test and I can just skip ahead to the...
Wow.
I know. And I didn't... I know.
Wow.
That just undermined everything you thought of me.
I used to think you were humble, but no, I'm just joking. God. But I do understand a little bit because I do some of their correspondence stuff, and I'm reading through these books, and I'm like, my gosh, like Pastor Larry's like, I've heard all of this.
Right.
Like, yeah. So I do understand to an extent what you're talking about.
But I mean, within the first week or two, I was like, I don't know anything.
Wow. So it was a lot deeper than you gave it credit for, maybe.
Deeper, and a lot of those 1st and 2nd year classes really part of the, experience and the impact really served to strengthen the foundations that I had.
Wow. Okay.
And just to have I've heard a lot of this teaching and a lot of messages over the years from my grandpa and my uncle and different ones, but to have a 16-week class or whatever it was on righteousness, it was like, whoa, we're really getting into or healing or whatever it was. Or, I think in the 3rd year, I had a class on the book of Ezekiel. Like, it was like, some of it just seemed like really random, but man, I mean, all of it was really, really good. And so the expectation, I think, was lower than it should have been.
Okay, interesting.
But my goal, somebody had kind of prayed over me shortly before I left, and they said the phrase they spoke over me was exponential growth. And I held on to that for those 3 years, and I was like, that's what I want. So I did have an expectation for growth, but I did kind of go into it with a bit of just a slight arrogance of like, I know some of these things, and quickly realized that there's so much more to this, and yeah, definitely helped strengthen those foundations over the first couple of years.
That's great.
Cool. Now, did you always like know you want to go to Rhema? Was it kind of something God suddenly put on your heart or spoke to you about, or how did that?
It was another one of those things where, kind of like what I was saying with doing business for school, where it was kind of like the default option, like because my family had done it, it was like, yeah, I might end up at Rhema. But as I got older and like through high school and early in college, it was more of a real possibility, I think, and something I began to pray about. And I always assumed I would go after I got married. That was what was in my mind for whatever reason. And I just figured it'd be easier, like, to get rid of that distraction, to have that the possibility of marriage off the table because it was already accomplished.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean distraction while you're at school?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like if I go and I'm already married, then I don't have to worry about that.
Because why else do you go to Bible school except for to find a wife?
That's what I've been told.
That's my brother did. My brother went off to Bible school. Yep, and literally I think first year met his wife. So
it happens.
Not that he was intending to. It just happened. Yeah. But I'm just saying like there's a very real component to that like stereotype. So
it's a spousal vending machine.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so cheap.
$1.25. Just
wow. Okay. All right.
So yeah, I thought it would be later in life, for me, a little bit later in life. But when I think it was actually before I finished Eastern, my last year at Eastern, I started praying about it. I actually started putting money away for Bible college, and I was keeping it generic. I was saying Bible college.
Sure.
I didn't want to just be like, oh, it's got to be Rhema, but it ended up being Rhema. So I prayed about it for the better part of 8 months in that year, like really focused prayer time, and did some fasting, and felt called to go when I did. But it wasn't always necessarily part of my plan, because what you were saying earlier, I identify with. I'm a very scheduled person, and planning, like I want to know.
I can see that.
Yeah. So this was a big step for me, and he gave me a year in advance. Like he told me to go in August of 17, and I knew in the back of my mind, like they start their school year around Labor Day. I was like, you mean now? Like, surely not.
Right.
And he said, no, it would take you a year to prepare. So I had a whole year between knowing I was going to go and actually going. So that was helpful for my, really preparation. But
I like that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
I don't know what else I was answering in that.
No, that's great.
No, that's really,
I love it.
Yeah, that's really cool. I've never really heard a lot of you talking about Rhema, so that's really cool. Now, I feel like I remember you mentioning this one time. Were you part of a worship team there or anything like that?
Multiple, yeah.
Really?
Multiple
I couldn't
teams?
remember if you were for sure or not, because don't they have a traveling one?
Yes. Oh gosh, yeah. So
did you do their crusade worships?
A couple times.
That's the one I was thinking of.
So I went to Rhema for the church for maybe 3 or 4 weeks when I first got there, and did nothing because I was just like, I had just got there. And it felt so weird to just go to church.
After serving for many years at your home church, I can imagine how that would be weird.
I got so restless after a few weeks. I'm like, all right, I got to do something. So I auditioned.
That's good. That's like a good
it's a good
problem to have, I guess.
Restlessness, yeah. So I auditioned for the worship team for bass guitar, which is what I had done here in Yield in the youth band for 9 years. And quickly realized, I got in, but I quickly realized like I was playing with people out of my league. Like
really?
Yeah. Wow. And they do Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night there. And so I started playing a little bit on Wednesday nights, which, kind of the entry level,
Right.
Then occasionally on Sunday mornings. And I'm trying to think, I also joined they have a young adults group. And I wasn't planning to join that one, but they kind of recruited me. And they're like, yeah, we heard you audition for the church. I was like, yeah, what about it? So I started playing for them too. Like they met
still bass guitar.
Yeah, bass. Yep. They did Tuesday night meetings every week, and I played probably every third week. then I started to play more on Sunday mornings. And then by the time the main, like the primary bass player or bassist, if you will, at the church left in May of my first year. So when I came back for my second year, I was thrown in like way more on Sunday mornings.
Wow.
And by the time I left, I was playing pretty much every Sunday morning, most Sunday mornings, a lot of Sunday nights, not Wednesdays. In my last year, I started playing drums in the youth band there.
How was that?
You just
It was interesting.
playing drums?
Was there? How big is their youth group?
Oh boy, they had.
I know it's changed over the years. They used to have a massive, way back when youth group was like this big cultural thing, like in the church. They had a massive youth group, but I think they've had some fluctuations over the years. So I was just curious, kind of how many if you're on the worship team, like what kind of audience are you playing to?
When I first started playing back there, it was at the beginning of my third year. It was just high school. So they had high school and middle school separated.
Of course.
And then a couple months into that, they merged those two.
Oh, wow.
And I think at that point, I mean, their youth group was bigger than our church.
Sure.
It was like, well, maybe about the same size, really. But they had like 60, 70 leaders, youth leaders.
Wow.
And so it was really interesting to watch the youth pastor. He really invested in the leaders and let the leaders do the,
kids.
which you have to. You can't you can't connect with every single kid if there's 150, 200 kids,
Yeah.
But yeah, very different environment drumming there. I'm sure it's probably like camp versus, playing bass here and with 20 kids and it's the same God, of course.
But the environment, it does make a difference. The dynamic is totally different when you get bigger groups of kids. So I was just curious how that was. Okay.
So yeah, I did a lot of, and then I think in my second year, I also played in the prayer school band, which was something, the prayer school happened 3 afternoons a week and they did worship and then prayer time. And then, I did a couple of trips in my third year with the traveling team, the team that goes with the Hagans. We went to Florida to a couple of churches and then to Texas. And then I had the opportunity to go to, I think they were going to go to Colorado next, but I passed on that one because I was so close to the end of school and I didn't want to miss any more class. And I was like, I got the experience.
So do you miss a lot of class when you do those?
Yeah, you miss the whole week. I mean, you get the CDs, but it's not the same as CDs. I don't know what an MP3. I don't know what you get, but
8 tracks.
Yeah.
Are the classes like legit like college classes? Like, do you meet with a counselor, schedule them out, or does everyone have the same classes? You have tests and like all that stuff.
Yeah, it's all the same. I don't think you choose your classes. I mean, you choose your, like in the third year, you choose the program, but it's all laid out for you, the curriculum. And there are tests. It's not very, in my opinion, it's not super academically challenging. Okay. There's a lot of reading. The first couple of years, a lot of reading, and then tests over the content of the book or the class or both. I think there were a couple of papers. And then the third year, for me, pastoral ministry, there were more projects. Like we had to do a couple of church planting projects.
Oh, wow.
One of them was with a group, which was interesting.
I remember that because we talked a little bit about a website thing.
Yeah, that's right.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. Is that still live?
No. I let that die a long time ago.
I reached out to a friend to make a logo, and that was a fun project.
That was pretty cool,
Our church plant, I mean, it was all fake, but it was actually in Danville, Illinois. We were given that city by the instructor, and I was like,
hilarious.
Wait a minute. What are the odds of this? But more projects, and then I did a couple of sermons in that last year, too. So,
that's really cool.
Yeah, it was
very
fun.
cool.
Would you say you made a lot of friends there, built some strong, lasting relationships, or what was kind of that aspect of moving away, brand new people, new environment, all the things?
I have said this before too. That was my biggest fear moving away was, am I going to be able to make friends?
Are you more of an introvert, extrovert? Really?
Introvert for sure.
Same.
I am recharged by alone time, not by. I enjoy being with people, but when I'm done with that, I'm like.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I can breathe.
Yeah.
Right.
But that was my biggest fear, and I've told this story before from the pulpit and just in conversations with people. But there was a point a week or two in where I had met some people just around because I was in student housing, which was just right across the street from the school and the church. I'd met some people like in the laundry room, just random things or different events that were going on in the first couple weeks. And so I went to a pizza place with a couple of guys that I had met. We're sitting there in a booth, and I just thought they were good guys. They were not like crazy people or weird people or anything, but I just sat there and I was just like, this is it. Like these are my friends. And I was so disappointed. I was like, God, you could do better than this, right?
That is hilarious.
And if you're listening, no. But yeah, he definitely provided me with great friends. There's so much opportunity for social there, which for me was overwhelming. Like, I did want to be able to connect with people, but I don't need to be super close with everybody, you know?
Right.
So I had a couple of friends that I was able to get closer with, and yeah, still friends. I've been in a couple of their weddings, you know.
Wow, so pretty close.
Yeah.
Then. Oh, interesting.
So
okay.
yeah, I was provided with what I needed when I needed it, you know, friendship-wise.
That's great. We had a kid at church camp one year, a few years back, where, you know, at the end of camp, a lot of kids are, oh, what's your number? Let's stay in touch kind of thing. And one kid goes, not one of our kids from our youth group, but he's like, hey, can I have your number to this other kid? And I mean, this kid could have been more than a junior, senior in high school, and yet gave one of the most mature answers I have ever heard in my life, rather than just giving his number out to random people at the end of a camp, you know, where you get close with people over a week. Granted, that's true. But the kid's like, hey, it's all right, man. Some people are just in your lives for a season. Like, dang, bro, you just shot him down in such a mature way. It's like, dang, wow. It's like, I won't keep. But I'm like, I got to thinking about that. I'm like, my first thought was, dang, that was kind of cold. But then I'm like, you know, that is really, because you're not going to really stay in close contact with the vast majority of people that you meet at a week-long church camp.
And sometimes it might feel like an obligation.
Yes, you know. And I'm like, man, that was
we're all getting each other's numbers.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, you know, or social or whatever. Yeah. So I'm just like, man, that was actually pretty good. So yeah, some people are just in your lives for a season, and that's okay. So, and
there are other levels of friendship, like people that I met and became friends with there that we don't connect a whole lot. Yeah. But when I go back and see them, or, you know, they've moved away, I've moved away, we go back at the same time, and it's, you know, you pick up, it really is like a family environment that's been pretty cool to experience now on the backside.
Yeah, I love that.
Really cool.
I love that.
Because you have that connection, which is true of all believers, but when you're going to school together you're in class 3 hours a day together doing different stuff.
Especially when you're all basically doing the same thing for the most part. It's not like another college experience where you might make some acquaintances and stuff, but everybody's got different
you move
classes and you're everywhere. So.
Well, that's really good. Well, that was really fun to hear about. That went by really fast, but we're at our time limit kind of.
Oh, man.
Not for me. I'm like, when is this over? Like, please, just stop talking. No, I'm just joking.
Well, as we kind of wrap up, one last thing. What would your advice be to listeners who are struggling with hearing from God or kind of finding their purpose?
Well, how much time do
Good
you
gracious.
That is
hard,
like, hey,
that's like a cliffhanger for part 2.
In a lot of areas of your life.
Yeah, like an end credit scene.
Yeah, it's like, after this already long episode, here's another really deep, long question for you.
Hey, I thought it was a good question.
Oh, it's an excellent question.
I want to hear the answer.
Just not for the end of a podcast.
Fine, you can do it next time. Gosh.
This has been fun.
All right, sorry, go ahead. All right.
Okay, so advice for hearing from God.
Yes.
Finding purpose.
Maybe struggling with that.
So a couple of things. I'll try to be quick, but I also don't want to skim over
take your time.
that
You're
quick.
fine.
Okay.
You can wait. You know?
She's just like,
he's fine.
You're fine. He's the one that's the
Whoa. All right.
Okay.
I'm the one that edits. I'll just cut it in half. We'll make 2 episodes out of it.
Hey.
That's fine too.
Then I would.
It's a great idea. So take all the time you want. Drag this question out as long as you want to.
So.
Go ahead.
First thing I would say, as far as the hearing from God part, is get familiar with what he sounds like.
Oh, that's a good one. That's very good.
The easiest way to do that is to read the Word.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've read enough of like one particular author or someone who maybe puts out like devotional content. You get used to how they sound, like with what they write. Mm-hmm. And so if you read someone enough and then you hear them speak, it's like, oh yeah, you can see the similarities between the two. So get familiar with what he sounds like through reading the Word mostly. And second thing I would say is give him time and space. I think there are so many people who I don't hear from God, or I really struggle to hear from God. And it's like, well, are you giving him room? You know, because if if we're having a conversation and I do 100% of the talking and then I leave that conversation, like I didn't hear from Abby at all. Like she didn't say anything. I didn't give you a chance to,
right.
I was monopolizing.
That's a good point.
And I think we do that with prayer a lot.
Oh, I think so too. I agree with that.
I just read a book recently, a couple months ago, where the author spent a whole chapter talking about this concept of dissenting from the kingdom of noise. And he was mostly talking about like social media and I guess media in general, but we just live in such a noisy
Who is
culture.
that? What'd you read?
Jordan Rayner, it's Redeeming Your Time.
Okay.
Which is, you would love it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I think I've heard that title before. I haven't heard the author,
it's
but I've heard
right
that
up your
title.
alley, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, just shutting out some of the things that are crowding out that ability to give him time and space. We're so busy, and I think we take a little bit of a pride in how busy we are sometimes. Like,
I think that's true. I can certainly be that way sometimes.
It's one of the most common answers to how are you now? Oh, I'm busy.
So
it
busy.
really is, yeah.
It's like, okay, with
Right.
what,
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
it just kind of becomes a badge that we wear. But I don't know. I think a lot of times, and I've been here too, where we spend our devotional time, prayer time in the morning, and it's like, well, if God doesn't talk to me in that little 5-minute window, then that's it. That was his only chance for the day. But really just developing that habit of giving him the time and space.
Right.
And
also being open, regular conversation with God throughout the day too. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Saying not that you're just sitting down in quiet prayer time all day, but just in your day-to-day comings and goings, just being open to the voice of God and kind of, like I have a habit, the first thing I do when I drive anywhere is have my radio going or a podcast going or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes just driving in silence.
Yep.
Which when you're used to the noise is very hard to do. It's awkward, right? And then when you were mentioning that, the book that you read, I was thinking maybe there's a number of books out there on this topic because it is such a noisy world that we live in. And I think it's by Jefferson. I think I'm probably going to butcher the name, Jefferson Bethke, I think, but it's like the ruthless elimination of hurry.
Yeah.
Is that Jefferson Bethke?
I don't know. I know the title, but I don't know.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of
Is
something
it John
else.
Mark Comer?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'll look it up while you're talking, but that's what. No, sorry, because you were still giving your answer, but I'm going to look that up because it was a similar thing. It was like, I mean, he really dealt with that, like the noise of the world. Like, there's a part of our brain that is actually overwhelmed.
Yeah.
When we are constantly intaking stuff, and it's just,
and we get so used to it.
Yes.
But I giving him that time and space, but I also that throughout the day, like I feel like if you think about it as getting to know someone that you're dating, there's like the times where
John
you're
Mark
actually
Comer, you're right. Sorry. I'm going to look up the guy. I was
bonus
like,
points.
Yeah, bonus, yeah.
There's obviously like the actual dates and like phone calls and stuff like that. But then there's, in this day and age, there's a lot of texting like throughout the day that goes on for a lot of people. So that kind of thought with the Lord of like, not just these set times that I have with him, but also like the more conversational.
That's a good way to put it, a good new perspective. That's
but
really good.
I do see the importance of setting a time and place too. Whether that's daily or weekly or whatever, some sort of rhythm where it's like, I have an appointment with the Lord and treating it like you would an actual appointment with someone else.
Yes,
like, if you have that set and someone's like, hey, you want to do this? I'm committed to, and you don't have to say what it is if you're, but you could, and people should hopefully respect that. But, you prioritize the relationships of the people you really want to get to know. And I think that's important. And then the last thing I would say, that goes more into like finding your purpose, is to, when you're going into that time that you've set aside to hear from God, go into it prepared, like expecting, to hear. And this is something I shared in a message earlier this year. But when I asked the Lord, that was something he was prompting me to do, was to spend more of that set aside time just listening. And I asked him, I was like, what does it look like to come to that time with an expectancy? And he said, it looks like pen, paper, and a prepared heart.
Wow.
And which alliteration, I was like, yeah. Like you got me. So that's how I treat it now. I daily, I have that time with him that I call chair time, where I have my journal and I've got a pen and I almost daily. It's not ritualistic, but I pray something close to, if not exactly, God, I'm coming expectant to the table of your presence. I'm doing what I know to do. I ask you to speak to me, and I purpose to confirm what I hear through obedience to what you say.
Wow.
And it's just that prepared heart of, I don't want to just hear from God, because hearing without doing, James talks about that. It's pretty much useless. Right. But I want to be able to hear. I actually heard someone, I don't remember where this was, but someone was talking about James 1:5, where it says we can ask God for wisdom, and he gives it liberally if we ask in faith, But he said, before you pray that prayer for wisdom, which we know he will answer, you need to pray for courage for the wisdom that you're going to receive. Because you can hear wisdom from him, but you need the courage to follow through and to obey whatever he's saying. I'm like, oh man, that is good. So yeah, I do want to continue to develop my ability to hear from God, but also he's not going to keep giving me directives if I'm not following the ones he's given me. Right. So that's an important part too.
That's
and
very good.
That goes into finding your purpose. Like, follow the directives you're getting. It's great to hear from God, but follow through on those things and see where he takes you.
That's really good. I love that.
That's very good.
That's really cool. Now, do you feel like you do it in complete silence, you're just sitting there?
Yeah.
Do you ever feel kind of stuck or like it's too silent? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And like, okay, am I going to hear anything?
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of times I will, sometimes I will just sit there in silence until I hear something, but a lot of times I will just ask a question and start that way, you know? And it does take, and I'm not perfect at it by any means, but it does take practice.
I was going to ask if it's gotten any easier
it has.
Now that you've developed that spiritual discipline.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it has become something that I look forward to,
I love that.
Where at first it was like, I got to do this, more of like medicine. But it has become easier. And I do it at different times in the day. I find it easiest to do it in the morning when my phone is not a distraction, because I get up super early, so no one is texting me at whatever 4:30 or whatever it is. But whenever it is, having that discipline to just be truly silent and keep your phone away or whatever might distract you. But yeah,
that's really good.
It's very good, very good,
very, very good. Yeah, that could have been a whole
I
episode in and of itself. But
I thought we would just skip that one. And I was like, oh
no, yeah, sorry. I really want to hear your answer on that one. I was excited about that question. So. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, so
thanks for having me.
Appreciate you being here. Thank
you. Good time.
Well, I'll go ahead and pray us out if you don't mind.
Yeah.
All right. Dear God, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for this episode that we got to record with David. Thank you for all that you're doing in his life, God, and that he got to come on the podcast today to share a little bit of his testimony and the amazing things you're doing in his life. God, I just pray for continued blessing over him and his family, God, and thank you for all that you are doing, and it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you guys for being here. We'll see you next time.